Are the things you say you value the most a priority in your life? Do your decisions align with your core values? Are you feeling a little stuck? Let's talk about it. Are you feeling like you don't know what your next move should be, or are you having a hard time making decisions? It's probably because you haven't determined what actually means the most to you in your life. You're probably feeling stuck in life because you don't have or you have not identified your core values. So, what are core values? Core values are your beliefs and morals that guide you when you're making decisions, when you're building relationships, when you're solving problems. And this, in turn, when you have core values in place, it forms a mindset that ultimately determines your behavior. So, Jesus, he makes it clear in the Bible that we are commanded to do what? Love. Love God and others as we love ourselves. So this is an example of what a core value is. Paul also gives us a list of values that we are to live by daily. And they are called the fruit of the Spirit. And the fruit of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. That's Galatians 5:22. So did you guys know that I'm a certified Christian life coach? So back in 2019, I became a certified life coach because I'm just super passionate about, helping people with their personal growth and, just doing things God's way, just doing things how God intended us to do it. So as I was studying to become a life coach, there was something that stood out to me like a sore thumb. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I was living by my own set of core values. Like faith is my top number one core value. But how that was playing out in my life was try not to sin and go to church every week. I was not reading my Bible like that. I was not doing all of that. I just was like, okay, if you try not to sin and you go to church, you'll be good. But when I started developing these skills, when I was becoming a life coach and when I started, coaching my clients, I realized that God was not a priority in my life. Like I thought he was, like I wasn't focused, I wasn't organized. And this is why I would, most times feel motivated to go and do stuff, but then I would go back to feeling stuck. So my pastor, he gave a great example of what core values are, and it kind of sharpened my understanding. So he said we have proclaimed values, which are what we think we value, and then we have actual values, which are what we truly value. And when we're feeling stuck, it's most likely because there is a gap between the two, which is your fulfillment gap. Right? So until your proclaimed values become actual values, we won't have fulfillment. So the things that we are proclaiming to be a priority in our life, but we're not actually really living like they're a priority in our life, we won't truly be happy until we make the decision to start living like they are priorities. And those are core values. So, like I said, one of my core values is faith, right? And what does that actually look like? How do I actually live out this faith core value in my life? So for me, it's living a God first lifestyle. What the heck is that? God first. First of my week. That's on Sundays. First of my day. Every day. Morning devo. Prayer. Worship. Watching a sermon of some sorts, like just giving God the first of my day. And then that's also giving God the first of my increase. When I get paid, I'm tithing. It goes to him. So that's God first lifestyle for me. So now faith, like I said, it has always been a core value of mine, but I was only living that thing out like partially. And it wasn't until that I actually started to make that an actual value versus a proclaimed value and making it a priority in my life that I truly started to feel fulfilled in my faith in my spirituality, in my relationship with God, in my walk with God. So how do you identify your core values? Now, as a life coach, this is what I would do. I would give my clients words and have them choose about 15 of them. And then I would ask them to narrow that thing down to about 10. Then I would say, okay, now choose 3 to 5. Now that you have your list of core values, then I would take them through like a series of thought-provoking questions based off that narrow list of 3 to 5. So one of the questions I would ask, how do your decisions and your actions align with the person you want to be? Then I would ask, how do you feel when your actions are not in alignment? How about, how do you set boundaries around these core values? And most of the time, the answers are like, they're not aligned, or I feel out of whack, or I feel like I'm not making good decisions, or I feel stuck, or I don't have boundaries at all, because I'm saying that, I'm proclaiming that this is a core value, but I'm not actually, it's not showing up in my life, right? So once I have them identify what the core values are, and have them self-reflect and see that they're probably not showing up in their life like how they want them to, then I would have them to put a plan in place. So now I would ask, what is it that you have to do what is it that you need to adjust in your life to start making your proclaimed values, the things that you're saying are priorities, actual values in your life? What does that look like? Is that saying no? Is that putting the schedule in place? Is that hacking yourself? Now, what is hacking yourself? This is another thing that I learned from my pastor. Listen, let me just make this public service announcement. He's my pastor. He's my boss. He's my coach. And he's played a huge part in my personal growth. So you're probably going to hear me reference him a lot. So a hack that I had to do for me is, once I decided that I wanted to go on this wellness journey and start eating better and exercising and just having a healthier lifestyle, I realized that I like to eat snacks. I like chips. I like cookies. I like ice cream. I like cake from time to time. I love those things, right? But I noticed that if I buy them and have them in the house, I'm going to eat it. It doesn't matter if I'm dieting, if I'm trying to eat better, if I just worked out, don't matter. So I had to hack me. And that my hack was, don't buy the stuff. When you go to the grocery store, we are not buying snacks. We are not buying cookies. So now when I'm home, because I spend a lot of my time home, I don't have that stuff in the house. So now if I want something sweet, I got to eat some strawberries, a banana, or something like that. Pull out some cashews or something. I can't have that stuff. So that was my hack, to not buy the snacks. And that, for me, helped me to make that wellness core value a priority in my life, because there were certain things that I was saying that I was doing with my lifestyle and eating healthy, but it wasn't really showing up in my life. So that was a hack that I had to do. So I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do that'll help you get unstuck and start living out your core values in your everyday life. So the first thing that you want to do, and you have to do, this is like a must. You have to be real and honest with yourself about where you currently are right now. Do you have any values in place? If you do, and you're not living them out, let's put an action plan in place and let's start. And if you don't, that's cool. This is the second thing we're going to do. We're going to make a list of verbs. I want you to choose from Google, go to Google and do core values for a list of words, and then narrow it down to about 3 to 5 things that you want to make a top priority in your life, right? And then you want to ask yourself, what do I have to start? Then you want to ask yourself, what do I have to do to start living out my core values in my everyday life? What adjustments do I have to make? And then you get started. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as making a decision and executing. Listen, 2024 is the year that we're doing extreme execution. It's no time for play. We did that before. We're not doing it anymore, right? So listen, there's no right or wrong answer when it comes to your core values. They make your life just more fulfilling, and it gives you a better sense of self-awareness once you start operating with these core values as being a priority in your life. They're not just proclaimed, they're actual things that we live out every day. So if you're ready to get unstuck, start with personal core values. Remember, everything begins with a thought. Change your mind, change your life. So if this video has helped you, if it has blessed you, it has done something to you, stirred something up in any kind of way, I want you to share it. I want you to like it. I want you to subscribe. And I don't want you to keep it all to yourself. All right? See you guys next time.